Hello, my friends. Welcome to your seat at the table. I'm Rick, of course. I got Mama sitting over here by the window. She's behaving herself. She's got all of her neediness out of her system now, I guess. Anyway, we are looking at In the Shadow of the Dragon by Craig A. Reed Jr. First off, Mr. Reed, this is an excellent book. You did a really damn good job on it. I mean, honestly, as a wannabe writer to a actual published writer, damn good job, sir. Damn good job, sir. Unfortunately, there is a typo in here, but I'm not going to fret. I'm not going to fret on it. Typo is not your problem. That's your editorial staff's problem. And once again, I did a recent video on BattleTech Universe, and it's got a lot of issues. I counted count three issues, a typo and a missing word altogether in the universe book. For the 40-year celebration, very bad. Very bad. The editorial staff, shame on them. Shame on them. They've gotten lazy. They're dependent on the computer doing the spell check for them instead of actually literally reading line by line, letter by letter through at least once when you're in the editorial process. That is how you used to do it. That's how the old school used to do it. Back in the day, you actually got hit twice because the editorial staff would do that at first, and then we'd send it off to the typesetters who would create the type pages because, typesetting was how they printed, and they had to also verify that everything was correct, and they doubled and triple checked. So they made a big effort to keep the mistakes down. So the sloppy, very sloppy Catalyst editorial staff, you're sloppy. Need to tighten this stuff up a hair. Just my personal opinion. And I appreciate how much work the editorial staff does. It is a very difficult and often thankless job. You get a lot of heat. You get a lot of crap. You do. I get it. So I have some issues with this, of course. I would not be me if I didn't have a problem. At least one. Right. But the problem is on me, not on Mr. Reed or the material. I don't like whodunits. I'm not a fan of mysteries. I do not care for horror. I'm not a fan at all of police crap in my mind. And I'm just not that NCIS guy. I just will never be, and I'm never going to. But that's a personal dislike and not and that has nothing to bearing on the game itself or the book itself. That said, all that said, the setting and the story is compelling and it draws you along, which is what you want, and it brings us some enough whodunits and whodunits that make you keep wanting to read to figure out what's going on at the long run. The downside for me when it comes to that sort of stuff is I get bored with it pretty quick, so I'm not. It's just not my gig. But that said, the setting is another window, another movie set in Black Luthian and the Draconis Combine. It doesn't matter what house faction the setting is. It's giving us a fresh view from yet another perspective. So, from the view of a couple diehard detectives, that their view and take on how certain things operate and function and how things look gives us yet more insight into the setting and as an overall world. I mean, it really, really goes a long way in there. It also introduced me to the coordinator, Yori Kurita, who, aside from a little bit of blurbs in the one novel with Toriaga and the Forgotten, or damn it, the Federated Suns, where she's barely mentioned in the book. I mean, that was my first introduction to Yuri, the coordinator, as a character, and it was very, very brief. Well, she's in here obviously a lot more, and we get a deeper view as to what she's about, how she thinks, and how she reacts. We also see her core group, and once again, it comes across while reading her interactions with her core group of support actors and actresses that they have been together before in a prior novel. So once again, there is a novel or a short story or something that predates these things that introduces those characters that I have yet to read. So I'm missing a component in that overall arc of stuff. What I like about it is we see a strong young leader coming into her own in a society that she's actually got a number of things working against her just because she's a woman and because her not so clean heritage. I mean, she's not the direct descendant kind of heritage, so that's a problem. And then she's achieving some significance, and she's at a point where that the Draconis Combine is potentially in trouble. They've way overextended themselves and maintained that extension far beyond the point they should have. I applaud them for taking New Avalon, but they should have cut it loose. They should have went in there, burned it to the ground, hauled off anything they wanted. After a year or two, then fell back. Just fall back. To have that thin logistics train snaking its way through all that enemy territory, you just knew that wasn't sustainable. Hello. So for all of Torinaga's vaunted abilities, he fell short there, didn't he there, friends? He did. So in case of Yuri, it's nice to see her character and her interactions and how it plays out. And how we get here is through these interestingly written detectives and the detectives' associates, and how they work through the system, going through yet another layer of how these bureaucracies and these governments function is beautiful. It was a great read, and I look forward to coming back sometime in a few years and rereading it again. And I'm glad that I was able to purchase it. I went on a lark. I bought three. I got this one, and I did the previous one I already did a video on, and there's just I wish I could afford to buy these books as they come out like I used to. I can't afford to get everybody's book, all of them, and it's not practical for me to try to print them out into a PDF form that I can read, because that's just redundant. So anyway, I'm Rick. You're not. Until next time. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week, I guess. Looking at like I said, I don't know. At least we got some sound and it's working better, and the videos are pretty crisp. Just still go a long way to go before I'm satisfied.